Hi, this is Ananda. I'm gonna try and show you DxO Labs Nick Collection Silver Effects. This video is motivated by myself. The DxO Lab didn't ask me to make the video. So let's get started. I will start the install process. Select your language, click OK. You have to agree to overwrite any existing version of Nick Collection on this computer. I don't have anything. This is a clean virtual Windows sandbox. So let's keep going. You'll have to agree to the terms of the service policy. Keep on going. You'll have to specify where you want to put it. Keep on going. And it will have a look in the Windows registry, presumably, for Adobe host applications. I don't have anything in this sandbox, so keep on going. Yes, it's done. So finish. So you've got that installed. How do you know it's installed? If you click on the Start menu, you should be able to see various applications. I've just expanded it. This is Windows 10. If you want to keep them near at hand, so I'm talking about running these apps as standalone apps rather than plugins. So I want to have them visible, so I'll just right click, pin to start, right click, pin to start. I'll start the Silver Effects program and it should launch. And there it is. If you are using the paid version, you will have license key. I don't have, so I'll just click on Start Trial. Of course, you can click on Buy if you haven't bought it and you want to buy it. You've got a very familiar screen. It's typical of most modern photo editing programs. In the center is the place for your image. On the left are presets, and we'll talk about that later. On the right hand side are the fine-tuning controls that you can do. So, you can drag and drop your images or go File, Open. I'll drag and drop my images. So I've just want to bring my image, so it's there. I'll drop it in there, and it's loading. And things before you to know before working with a TIFF file. A TIFF. Why did I choose a TIFF file? Okay. Silver Effects doesn't read any raw files. That's not its main purpose. So you can feed it a JPEG or a TIFF. Obviously, a JPEG will have some amount of compression and will be a smaller size. What it essentially is, and it will be 8-bit color depth. So you're having in terms of data, you will be having a lesser quality file to start with. So it's good to start with a TIFF. You can create a TIFF from Lightroom, or you can create a TIFF from Photoshop or from any of the photo editing programs. What this tries to tell you is since you imported images in TIFF format, you have the ability to resume editing later. And TIFF files can do layers and keep changes separate from the base image. If you are doing things with JPEG, the editing changes when you save the file will be absorbed into the image, and therefore it's mixed in. You can't undo the changes, you can't edit the changes anymore. So there is a learn more and do not show this again. I'm confident of that, so I will do not show again, click on OK. There is non-destructive edits, larger files. See that? That's a checkbox, and I can click on the checkbox, and I'm happy with that. So let me make this full size, and it's full size, and that's what it looks like. Let me tell you a little bit about the environment that you're going to work with. Let's visit File Preferences, and there we have the background color. Since I post to Instagram a lot, I'll be looking at my images on a white border or a white background, so I do need a white background. Secondly, if I'm going to directly save out the output as JPEG, and I am not going to do any more processing on it, I want my JPEG to be 100%. That will maximize the JPEG size. Click on save, and now I've got a white background. On the right panel, I've got a loop. Loops are well presented and well done in DxO software. So notice that when I move over the cursor over the image, the loop shows me a magnified view of the image. That saves me from continually zooming in to 100% or back and stuff like that. That's very useful. Second thing is I have a histogram. I tend to adjust things on eyesight rather than on technical measurements, but the histogram is good for quite a lot of reasons. And the histogram is not just luminance, it can be set to RGB values and integrated white, I think, show all channels. There's also a nod to Ansel Adams' zone system. There's a swatch. Black is zone 0, white is zone 10, and somewhere in the middle would be zone 5. You can see that when I wave over that swatch of zone 5, what is zone 5 on the image is shown in zebra stripes. So this gives me an appreciation of the zones that are which elements of my subject are on which zone, and so when I adjust, I'll expand the global adjustments. When I adjust brightness, highlights, midtones, shadows, I have a feel of which part of my image I'm adjusting. That's good. The other thing that you might be interested in expanding is the levels and curves. Even if you don't use the levels and curves, when you apply film simulations, this gives you an idea of what that film simulation is doing. Okay, on the left, let's start with the left. So the first preset isn't a preset. The first preset is zero base. That's the image as transformed as default by Silver Effects Pro. So that's 0. I'll walk you through the presets. The presets tend to be named over intent rather than technical biases. So the first intent may be underexposure, and yes, so the sky is deeper because it's underexposed. Overexposure by one stop, yep, that's overexposed. High contrast clipping, harsh. So you can see that the shadows are deeply black, and the amount of tone curve manipulation you can see from the histogram that has been applied, and you can also have a look at the, sorry, what was I saying? You can see the histogram signature, and you can also see the tone curve that has been applied. High contrast smooth looks like that, and to me that's not my cup of tea. It looks too much like a halo. Next one is high structure harsh. Now I'll have to scroll this palette of presets, so give me a few seconds while I do that. Then there's high structure smooth. Obviously the aesthetically it's less gritty. High key, not so much for this image. It may suit a high key image, or the intention of having a high key image. High key 1, high key 2. Low key. Yes, I know you're thinking of low key. Low key 2. And then I will pause again. Push process N plus 1.5. Push process, for those who have not done film, is about taking a roll of film and cooking it. We call it cooking it in the developer solution for a longer time. This increases the sensitivity of the process and increases the contrast of the process. It also increases the tone curve of the film. So that's 1.5. This is 3. Yes, and this is grad ND. This is grad ND minus 2. I presume the grad NDs are gradual neutral density filters applied, or the analog of that kind of idea, where you darken the top part of the image and you can see that the sky is dark. Full dynamic harsh. Full dynamic smooth. Full spectrum. Full spectrum inverse. That's quite pretty actually. Next, fine art process. Fine art high key framed. That's got an emulated 4 border that looks like an emulsion border. Trist 1, Trist 2, wet rocks. Full contrast structure, silhouette. This is very iconic. It's a favorite amongst some people who want that kind of look. Dark sepia. The sepias are, for those who don't come from a film world, sepias are a toning process or a development process. Is it a development or a toning process? Anyway, it was a print process to give some color to monochromatic prints. Soft sepia. Cool tones. So the cool tones are again an emulation or a simulation of print toning. Cool tones 2. Film noir is supposed to give, when it comes, is supposed to give the look of those roaring 20s or 30s black and white movies. Film noir 2, film noir 3. Then we have the yellowed look for print that has degraded, supposedly in an aesthetic manner. The silver emulsion or the paper of the print may have residual chemical that has continued to work, or over length of time it has the paper has yellowed too. And for those who do antique plates or have the antique plate look, this is about having an image that looks like one of those really early turn of the century images from plate film. Pinhole. There is a resurgence of pinhole aficionados. Dark glow. So these are more modern. Dark pop. These are more modern kind of descriptions. Dark selenium is again a print description, a print toning description. And then highlight fade. Intensifier. More silver. It's quite nice. Ominous fade. Contrasty. Subtle glow. Sun bleached. Classic portrait. So these would be more, these looks would be more relevant to human portraits or portraits of people. Classic portrait cool tones. Classic portrait Hollywood glamour. Classic portrait rugged. Classic portrait warm and soft. Street dramatic. So 3 presets for street photographers. Street gritty. Again, not the best choice of subject for this. Street high contrast. Street hint of blue. And street old vintage. You need a period costume for that kind of work. So that's the presets that are subjectively more about the intent or your intent. Next, let's go to the right hand panel and we'll talk about film presets or film profiles. So in film cameras, of course, you can change the film that you buy and put in your camera, and the type of film affects the picture or the image. Let me go back to neutral. I don't think I have to, because the film may change that. Look, anyway, I will go back to neutral just to be careful. There, we're back to neutral again. And now I go to the right hand side and I want to have film types, and there it says neutral. I also want to turn on the color filters. Okay, Even before I get into color filters, sorry, even before I get into film types, color filters are colored pieces of glass that we used to put in front of our lenses during the film days to change the monochromatic tones. So if you had a red filter on your lens, you would darken the sky, and that was the main reason why we used a red filter. Orange filter is a little bit darker, not as dark as red, and a yellow filter a bit less. A green filter to lighten the leaves, and a blue filter to whiten the sky. Yeah, you can adjust different strengths and different hues if you want to. Now we come to film type, and currently it's neutral, so I'll just put the filter back to neutral. So in the film type, the first of the rank is the Panatomic X, Kodak Panatomic X ISO 32, fine grain, the finest grain film, typically that in my generation that we would use. And then the Ilford version, the Pan F Pan 50 ISO. Next in the hundreds we have the Aquapan APX. I had a fascination and a love for Agfa film during the later part of my experience with that. You have ADOX, which is I think a more modern emulsion. Former Pan, which is also another more modern emulsion. Fuji Neopan, which to me used to be a little bit muddy, but it depends. Oh no, that's not Neopan 100. That's Neopan Acros. So that's actually the look from Fujifilm film emulations that we are now seeing in their digital cameras, but obviously there must be a professional Acros as well. No, it's not the old Fuji Neopan 100 that I used to use. Ilford Delta is a C41 emulsion, so color chemistry but black and white output. Kodak 100 T Max, also a C41 color chemistry, but black and white output. Let me see what else I can show you. FP4, the classic Ilford general purpose look. Kodak Plus X, the classic general purpose Kodak film. In the 400s, there is Ilford HP5, the classic Ilford look, and XP2, the modern Ilford emulsion. Kodak 400 T Max, and 400 CN, both are modern emulsions. For 400, the famous Kodak Tri-X, and I'll put my cursor on that. Tri-X is well known as a 400 for the gritty look, and Silver Effects has done a nice rendition of that. Alright, that's it for this video. See you in the next one when we make a next one. Bye.